And as Kisii University, the management has tried its level best. We have a committee in place, and in many sectors of our institution, gender mainstreaming has already taken place, but we are not yet there. And that is why we have had to invite our guests from the State Department of Gender to come and give us some sensitization on what we have done, what we are doing right, and where we have not reached their expectations, so that we become compliant in line with the requirements of our constitution. So this morning, talking to you is Dr. Gladys Osoro, the Dean of Students, Kisii University, a member of the Gender Mainstreaming Committee, Kisii University, and we have members present here for the committee, and we have two facilitators from the State Department of Gender. And this morning, we are privileged to have the director from the mainstreaming section of the State Department, Mr. Protas Onyango, with us, who is going to facilitate this moment. And with him, we have Madam Evelyn Tanui, who have been with us for the last 2 days. This morning, we have had a very fruitful engagement with the members of management. And I know right now online, we have both staff and students. Kindly feel free, listen, and also put your suggestions or your discussions on the wall so that they can be addressed at the end of the facilitation, because we might not have opportunity to allow people to unmute themselves, because we might end up in queues. So we are going to have about an hour presentation by our director, Onyango, this moment, and kindly listen and encourage, my dear students. I implore you to encourage as many students as possible to log in, because the institution has spent a lot, and this is an issue that is here with us. We need to be brought on board. So thank you, Mr. Onyango. And because I specialize in glaciology, I want us to give him shower, thunder, raindrops and thunder once, so that he can be motivated to take us through before the rainfall. Okay, showers, kindly showers, raindrops, 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 thunder. Mr. Onyango, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Bosire, Dean of Students. I enjoy your glaciology. It has kept us active. It has kept us motivated through the last 2 days. We have been here training on gender mainstreaming. The staff and students of Kisii University, as you have been told, my name is Protas Onyango. I'm Director for Gender in the State Department for Gender. I'm accompanied by my colleague, Evelyn Tanui, Assistant Director for Gender. And we were invited by Kisii University to come and provide sensitization and training to the Gender Committee, to management, to staff and students. I'm here on behalf of the Principal Secretary for Gender, she comes from this region, and she has a lot of respect for Kisii University. That is why when the request came in from Kisii, delegated to me to come and talk to you on this important topic of gender. During this session, I will make some PowerPoint presentations made of 18 slides, and this will take me about 30 minutes. And the remaining period will be spent on questions and comments from the staff in the presentation. slide. Attempt to by the term gender. I'll be at gap. Needs, priorities in the university, in your homes, and in your workspaces. In the case of, and also be important, the staff can integrate gender in policies that are guiding their day-to-day activities, and how they can integrate gender in programs. This presentation will help students to understand the importance of gender equality in their day-to-day. And this is a wrong perception, because gender is about men and women. It's about, and by definition, gender implies, or rather refers to the roles, responsibilities, and behavior patterns assigned to men and women, boys and girls, by society in a given time. We understand that our societies are different in the way they assign duties and responsibilities. The Maasais will assign specific roles to women and girls. Yet these will be different when you come to the Kikuyus in Central Province. The Luos will go to a different community, say the Kalenjins, and that is what defines gender. It has also to do with our behavior. How should a man behave in a homestead? How should a man behave in public? How should a woman behave? In the community where I come from, traditionally, women were not supposed to plant a tree. In the place she's married, now, she could only own small animals like livestock. But even with the livestock, or rather with poultry, she was not expected to own a cock. A cock was supposed to be owned by a man. The woman could not even plant a banana. And the expectation of men was that should this marriage come to an end, the woman should not lay claim to fixed assets in this home. She should only carry her clothes and go away. And that was gender in that community. It actually denied women the ability to do what they are capable of doing or what they desire to do. So women were confined to planting vegetables and planting subsistence crops like millet, sorghum, cassava, some little maize, not commercial, on a small piece of land for subsistence. Whenever maize now became a commercial good, then it was taken over by men because it attracts money, which the woman was not supposed to have. She should only have little to buy salt, little to buy mafutata and kibiriti, and maybe to buy a piece of fish. And that is how gender was done or rather practiced in that community. Now, we have gender and sex roles which have an impact on women and men. Gender roles are roles determined by society, while sex roles are determined by our biology. For example, a woman conceives, carries a baby for 9 months, gives birth, breastfeeds for even 2 years, others even 4 years. And during all that time, the woman is tied to performing those sex roles. The man will only have made the woman conceive, and from there, he's free. How that child is nursed and breastfed, the man has nothing to do with it. Gender roles, on the other hand, are designed and assigned by society. Cooking, washing, gathering firewood, fetching water, cleaning the house, cleaning the compound, making a bed. These are duties that keep the woman busy throughout. The sex roles of a woman and the gender roles. The woman gets overburdened with the roles at the household level. When you look at the single sex role of a man and the 1 or 2 gender roles, because in this gender class, I've been asking men what their roles are. And they tell me their role is only to provide security for the household. In some communities, they don't even provide. The woman should look for food and take care of her children. The man sits under a tree and he's given porridge at 10, he's given lunch, he's given supper, and he sleeps. And if he has many women, he just sits in his thingira or under a big tree in his homestead, and the women bring him food. And he can sample a dish from wife 1, a dish from your wife 2, a dish from wife 3, and he's left with a lot of time to entertain his friends and enjoy some drinks, while the woman is bogged down with the drudgery of performing gender and sex roles. Now, because of this, the women are negatively affected because they have no time to pursue socioeconomic growth, and therefore they are not able to meet their full potential. Men who are free are able to establish networks. They are able to have some time to work, to improve themselves socioeconomically. And for that reason, they have been able to do better in society than women. This is in addition to the social endowment they get through inheritance from their grandfathers and their fathers. A woman goes to marry with nothing except her small handbag or sanduku of nguo. The man, by birth, inherits the wealth of his father, the wealth of his grandfather. The man owns the house, owns the land, owns the cows, owns even the jogos in the home. So without even struggling to get resources from outside, the man is starting from a point of advantage, the woman from a point of adverse disadvantage. And this is reflected in our workplace, because then women who go to school, they go with a lot of luggage on their shoulders. And because of this, right from primary, secondary, even university, the women are not able to, 1, pursue, and 2, they are not able to score very high marks. Men have been seen to pursue STEM courses, science, technology, mathematics, engineering. It is because they have all the time to think, to read, to experiment, and excel in those courses. Women don't have that time and to excel in those courses. They have broken through the glass ceiling, and we should be grateful to them. Primary school who score high in science subjects, who score high. Worked extra hard to be where they are. Now, what gender asks us is to support and provide opportunities to those who are disadvantaged so that they can also enjoy the opportunities available in whichever spheres of life. Gender mainstreaming, therefore, comes into being, and it has been adopted by the government of Kenya. It has been adopted by UN member states. It has been globally accepted as a means of bringing about gender equality, to bring equality, to create a level playing ground between men and women, between boys and girls, to provide an opportunity to persons with disabilities and minorities so that they can be brought into the mainstream. They can also feel included. They can derive benefits from all processes that are taking place in the development arena, in the education arena, at primary school. You see the government encouraging persons with disabilities to join normal schools. They are supported, the government giving scholarships to orphans, to persons with disabilities, so that minorities and the marginalized can also enjoy or have access to opportunities and enjoy benefits that are associated with those opportunities. Now, in our society today, there's low representation of women in leadership positions. And the same representation is negatively reflected in all positions where there are men and women. For those of you who are able to see the chart, it shows the representation of women in the Senate, National Assembly, as governors, cabinet secretaries, as judges, as magistrates, and as practicing lawyers. In the extreme column on the right, you can see that the percentage of women is fairly low. We are talking of 6% representation of women in the Senate, 7.9% in the National Assembly. That needs to be reviewed. It's actually 23% now. Principal secretaries, there has been a big improvement since the current government took over at that 6.6%. There's good representation of women in the High Court at that 5.9%. Magistrates, 9.3%. Lawyers, we have to law as a degree and work pass still 41.6% against men who are at 48.4%. So we are encouraging that even at the university level, in Kisii University, the representation of female and male students needs to be at par. If it cannot be 50-50, the government encourages all organizations to comply with the 2/3 gender rule, where at least the lowest represented sex should register at 3.3% representation. Let's come to Kisii University. In Kisii University, the leadership is such that there's only one woman at the top leadership, against 6 men, with women comprising 14% of the members at the top leadership. Lecturers, 93 women compared to 222 men, with women accounting for only 29% of the membership of lecturers. Non-teaching staff, the representation has improved with women comprising 43% of the members of the non-teaching staff. Students, and this should be of interest to students, we have averagely 10,000 female students compared to 14,000 male students, with female students constituting 41.7%. This is good, is an improvement, but because we know in society out here, there are more female students who finish secondary school, this figure needs to rise so that we have an equitable, or rather an equal representation of women in Kisii University as students. Otherwise, I wish to commend the administration for having a reasonable number of female students. Affirmative action can be used to bridge the gaps in the representation. And affirmative action is a deliberate but temporary measure to bring into the mainstream groups and communities that were traditionally marginalized. Here we are talking about women, we are talking about students from minority communities, students from the Maasai community, Turkana, the Boranas and Somalis from Northeastern, and all those other communities, the Mijikenda in the coast, who have had limited opportunities to access education opportunities. The university needs to provide a strategy that can bring on board students from those areas without compromising standards. Affirmative action is also called positive discrimination, and the government applies it to help minorities and disadvantaged groups. And it's a means of countering discrimination against particular groups like those ones are made. Ensuring equity and equality in all university processes. I throw this to the lecturers. How do you lecture unnecessarily suffer? First, you need to ensure that there is gender equality or gender equity, at least of these committees, and in the representation of male and female students in these committees. That kind of fairness makes everybody feel is what the government is. Then that follow is so mainstreaming gender in this university. One, it will improve targeting of males and females at the level of lecturers, at the level of management, at the level of student recruitment, in training of lecturers and students, in promotion of lecturers, and in placement of lecturers in positions of management. For students, streaming will help you to establish a culture that is conducive, that is friendly, considering each other as partners in this education process. There will be respect, mutual respect between male and female students. There will be mutual support between male and female students, and you will end your studies and go out of the university appreciating the cordial relationship that existed between male and female students. Number two, gender mainstreaming ensures that there is equitable access and control over resources, opportunities, and benefits. So for members of staff, gender mainstreaming allows you to access university resources. I have this morning talked to the top management of the university, and I sensitized them on this. And for lecturers or staff, you also need to ensure that your jurisdiction are accessible to both male and female students, male and female workers. You are expected to ensure that opportunities are accessed by persons with disabilities. They are accessed by used. Not happen. They need to give incentives. Gender mainstreaming encourage from the processes in which they are engaged. Motivated. Even students want to feel motivated. Gender mainstreaming also ensures that in the university, we have various forms of discrimination. Discrimination, torture, or mental stress, psychological stress that one may cause another staff students. Gender mainstreaming discourages us from this. We have sexual harassment, which is a common phenomenon in universities. Gender mainstreaming discourages sexual harassment, sex for marks. We have heard of people being induced to give sex can be promoted for staff members, and all sorts of porojo, where the end result is sex benefits. Discourages this. We have cases among the support staff, and this is not allowed. Isolation, causing people to be shown, is a form of gender-based violence. So again, we have been training this committee on prevention and response to gender-based violence, all forms of gender-based violence, and we are requesting staff and students to help the university prevent and positively respond to any cases of gender-based violence. There's a mechanism of providing counseling services to survivors of gender-based violence. We are requesting that if somebody has volunteered information, it is handled with confidentiality, and the affected person is supported to settle down without undue stigma. The same applies to students. Don't create unnecessary stigma among your fellow students who have been subjected to gender-based violence. It is your role to support each other to get out of any cases of sexual and gender-based violence. And finally, gender mainstreaming creates inclusivity where everybody feels included. We are encouraging the staff and the students to embrace gender mainstreaming so that there is an environment that is friendly, that is conducive for carrying out your daily businesses, and that men and women regard each other as partners in this development process that has brought you in this university. There are some photos, but Edgar, just flip over them. I think I've already explained, but the message is this university has a role, not just to teach, but also to come up with innovations that address socioeconomic problems that people suffer out there. You exist as a university to learn, to share knowledge that can be used to address socioeconomic problems out there. And one of them is access to clean potable water. Can the university come up with certain solutions that can increase access, that can increase cleanliness of water, so that mwananchi out there can enjoy? How do you mainstream gender in Kisii University? There's need to carry out a gender analysis, and members of the gender committee may occasionally go to a department to carry out a gender analysis, just finding out what is happening there, where is it happening, who is doing it, who is benefiting, and they'll be trying to compare the involvement of men and women and who benefits from those activities. What are the gender gaps? Whenever you are approached as a staff member or as a student, please provide the necessary information without bias. There's need to sensitize and create awareness. We have trained the gender committee, we have trained the staff, we are encouraging them to create awareness on the importance of gender equality. Then there's need to have a gender policy. We have developed a draft gender policy, encouraging the gender committee to publish it and disseminate to staff and students so that they understand the provisions in the gender policy. We have also developed a draft sexual and gender-based violence policy for Kisii University. Again, let it be disseminated to staff and students so that they understand the provisions in that policy, two policies. The vulnerable, issues of supporting survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, things like counseling, and issues. Then it's important to empower women and men along the value chain. How do we empower staff to do better what they are doing now? How do we empower students as males and females to do what they are doing now? You have to understand males and females have different needs and different burdens. How do you ensure that you empower them? Male students, you should be able to listen to them. You have to know challenges and be able to provide solutions to those challenges. Then monitoring and evaluation and ensuring that gender equality exists in all programs. Then reporting you cannot directly that have been reported, it's not moving. Nairobi University, Egerton University, have been inviting us to come and in the process offer them technical support. Students of Nairobi University, Kenyatta, Egerton, and other universities. The other day I was in Kibabi University. To them as students to participate in their that we offer them guide for them to further in their organizations, and in the process encourage male and female students in the, and that is what we exist for. And having said that, then I want to say thank you very much for listening to me. I wish to sit down to listen to any comments or questions before we finish this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, our facilitator, Professor Onyango. And I want us to put our hands together to appreciate him for he has been speaking from issues properly as he has taken us through these the importance of having gender issues being mainstream. In a patriarchal society whereby the great benefits that are accrued in streamlining gender climate, we will feel we will benefit and we will tap from the and we have also seen that indeed both the government in terms of leadership, in terms of what and what we are getting from the national government and that are willing Thank you. There was no scratch. Our previously have been so good. You are wonderful students. Now, thank you.